Alright guys, I just want to show you exactly how fast the fireworks we shot off yesterday were. Well, no, 2 days ago. Because today's Tuesday, so 2 days ago. If we go here and I move it along incredibly slow, I can see each frame. This is at 60 frames per second. This is the combustion. This is the combustion once again. And this is when it exited the cannon. And then this is the spark trail left behind, and some fire still being shot out of the cannon. So this part, of course, took up more frames because it was actually easier to see. But the combustion period took up 2 frames. 2 frames. 2 frames out of 60 frames. So if I do the math on that, so after letting Google do the math for me, 33 milliseconds is 2/60ths of a second. But then I thought about it. Most likely, the second frame that we saw there was just bright and looked like it was part of the combustion period, but it probably was also exiting. So let's say the combustion period only took up 1 frame out of 60 frames. 16 milliseconds, followed by 6 sixes and 1 7. So, either way, it's between, the combustion period is between 16 milliseconds and 33 milliseconds. That is ridiculous. And that's just from what my camera could pick up. That's just what my 60 frames per second camera could pick up. Well, it was on the 60 frames per second setting. It's not exactly considered a 60 frames per second camera. And if we can look here, the tower of fire or light goes higher up, so the area around the mortar is just pooled, just soaked in that light right now. We can't even see it anymore. But if we look around here, the actual fire is coming up out of the mortar, of the combustion, the rapid combustion from the mortar shell, and the light is coming out and reflecting off this area. And this is the second frame. If you look at the first frame, right there, you can see, oh, I don't want to do text, you can actually see that the less actual light that comes out of the mortar, we're calling it light. I know that's not the correct terminology once again, but the less of the light actually, the less of the light reflects off the so the higher it is, let me get out of that. The higher it is, the more light we have reflecting off here. And I thought that was so cool just to break down from a video. And then we have, of course, sparks coming out, the smoke. And we look up, and then we wait for the explosion here. I'll get rid of these 2 things here. Ooh, this is really cool. So right here, it almost looks like we have 2 moons. Or almost like we have a sun. There's 2 suns, and they're put in different, they're laid out differently in the solar system. I don't even know. That's probably not even how it works, because the suns would have to be together, creating that center of mass, or that center of gravity. So the suns would kind of revolve around their own mass. So I guess it's 2 suns or no suns for an actual solar system. Or from our point of view, it's either 2 suns or no suns. But it almost looks like we have 2 moons almost, but then one's made out of a different material, so it reflects off different wavelengths of light. So there's different colors here. See, this part is the actual explosion, and this part's the moon. So then we go to the next frame. We actually see the explosion shooting out, burning shrapnel in all different directions. Not shrapnel, but burning debris in all different directions. We go over to the next frame. It gets it drastically expands. All all the same pieces of debris are still there, but they're going out in different directions. And some of the parts are so concentrated towards the center here that we don't even see the differences. The camera and our eyes can't even pick. Well, our eyes in general can't even dissect the explosion of a firework. But luckily, my camera can just about get this. I would love to see, at nighttime, I would love to see a phantom or some sort of really high powered, maybe 5,000, 1,000 to 5,000 frames per second pick up an actual mortar shell coming out of the cannon and the firework actually exploding. I would love to see that actually happen. And we can see this firework specifically has more of an oval shape to it. That's because, well, I mean, nothing's perfect. Nothing's a perfect round. Well, it's not really an explosion. It's more of the way that the debris is being shot out. Nothing's perfect like Mr. Pixar circles, guys. If you come out here, I'll get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. We can see all the actual burning debris. You can. This is really cool. You can still see. I think it's more of the concentrated smoke. Oh wait, the concentrated smoke, and then the light within that smoke. Because I refuse to believe that the combustion is actually creating like a. It looks honestly like a almost. Oh, my cat just came up. Hey, buddy. What's up, buddy? I'll call him buddy. But if you look close, it kind of looks like almost a sun with a ring around it. And I've never actually, I mean, every single sun is like that. On the outer rim, there's always going to be some, like our sun. Well, not always, but with our sun, there's that ring of asteroid, like I don't think it's called the asteroid belt, something like that. Again, never trust me to remember my terminology. But I just thought that was so cool. Frames out. You can kind of see this one's curving right here. That's so cool. It's like curving. I think this was the whistle firework. And then they just fade away. They burn out. And then that's really cool. You can kind of see the moon in there. It like fireworks remind me so much of like a rapid representation of the universe. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I just don't know why it's the first thing I think of. And right here's the coolest thing. Coolest part is like that is so cool. That's just I'm missing a frame in here, am I? I'm not missing a frame, am I? No, I'm not. It's just the illusion of animation and putting pictures together so quickly is just so defined. I love it so much. I love the idea of just photography and video. Just recreating events using rapidly drawn pictures. Anyways, I'll go back to editing this firework montage, and I hope that we all learned something. I learned something, definitely, about how using the 60 frames per second, the combustion period of a firework takes up between 16 milliseconds and 33 milliseconds. Oh, it's so cool. Right here, this is 16 milliseconds right there.